Hi everyone, it's Holly and I'm here with my confession book discussion. This is going to be filled with spoilers from the beginning, so if you've not read it, go check out my book review if you want, because that is non-spoilery. But let's go. I'm going to assume you have read it, no synopsis, nothing. I did give it 5 stars though, in case you didn't know. So, I just have a list of things I kind of want to talk about. First of all, that prologue. Colleen Hoover knows how to get me with the prologue. Like, seriously. This prologue broke my heart. I was not prepared emotionally for that. And to get you so invested in a couple and, in so few pages and words, that takes skill. Had me crying right away. I think I mentioned this in my wrap-up. I decided to read this over the weekend when I don't normally read on the weekends, so I wouldn't be crying at work. Best decision ever. AJ, so immediately guessed pretty early on that she was going to have a kid. I don't know why, I just had that feeling. I don't know if it's like the years of romance reading in me that's like, girl loses the love of her life, she must have had a baby. Like, that's just what happens. But that being said, like, I still loved it and still thought it was amazing. I actually for a while started to question it. It was like, oh, maybe she doesn't. Maybe it's something else. For a minute I was like, wait, did Adam not really die? Like, what? And then I was right the whole time, and she had a kid. Scene with Lydia where she will not let AJ stay with her broke my heart. Like, I am not a parent. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm actually not a huge fan of, like, kids in books and in real life. I don't hate kids or anything. I don't want to give that impression, but they kind of freak me out. I'm not a kid person. I never babysat or anything like that. So I've never been in this kind of situation, but it still broke my heart. Like, I can't imagine if somebody, when I was a child, would have been like, no, you can't stay with your mom or your dad. Like, that would have broken my heart as a kid. I can't imagine. And as a kid, I can't imagine as being a parent, like, not being able to even just spend one night with your child. I had lost my mind. It's been like a week since I read this, thank God, because I probably would have bawled my eyes out if I had freaking filmed this right away. And I kind of liked how it was a different look at a young single mother. Like, it wasn't her just, like, trudging along. She was going to raise this kid, that she made tough decisions. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that she made this tough decision to allow Lydia to take care of him. And so it was almost this awkward co-parenting situation that's not traditional. Yeah, it was really interesting, and I'm sure there's hundreds and thousands of fathers and mothers that go through that, where they make that decision and then they don't have complete control over how their kid's raised, and it's, I'm sure it's craziness. Trey. He's a douche. Like, I have no other way to describe him. Such a douchebag. He made me really uncomfortable, like, throughout the whole book. Every time. He's just like, you just get chills, like, which I feel like is amazing that Colleen Hoover was able to do that, like, just, his presence on the page made me uncomfortable, like, and I'm sure we've all met a person like that you just immediately do not feel right around them. And I will say, I do want more Emery. I loved her. I thought she was a great friend, and I kind of wish we had been able to see more of that. I would love to see, like, a book or a novella from her, kind of like Bridget and Warren-esque, but maybe just her. I'd be cool with that. And I do wish that we had gotten more of, like, how the whole Auburn, AJ, Owen relationship would end up panning out, because we don't get any of that, and I just want to see how that family works as a family. So that ending, though, was amazing. That, like, was it another chapter, or was it like an epilogue-y kind? Oh no, it just says 5 years earlier. and it's from Owen. Was amazing. I bawled my eyes out the whole time. It was kind of like the epilogue for Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, where I was like, happy tears, sad tears, happy tears, emotional tears. I couldn't keep it together. And as it's going, I'm like, oh my, because throughout the book I was sort of putting things together, but not 100%. And then to see, because then I realized, I'm like, okay, so he was probably there, that accident happened around the same time. So I figured that part out. But I just, like, I didn't connect everything. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was beautiful to see him, like, view their lives and kind of be this, like, objective observer almost. And when he, like, punches Trey, and then that is how he found painting, I think is one of the most amazing things in the world. Because that was actually a question throughout the whole book for me, was why is Owen a painter and an artist? And for it to come from this moment, and for that painting to have been his, amazing. I love it. And I think part of me, I don't usually like secrets kept between characters like that, but I feel like it's amazing that that he's not going to tell her, and he shouldn't, because telling her even a part of that story, I think, would ruin or color her image of Adam, and he doesn't want to hurt that because he's such a nice freaking guy. I loved it, and I love in stories when there's like two people who are in love and one of them like dies, but has kind of given permission to the next love to, like, that it's okay, because I'm sure that's one of the hardest things to do, is to come in when somebody didn't break up, when, you know, that's a separation that is probably comes out of, you know, usually has some sort of anger and, or at least understanding out of it, or some combination of both, and other emotions obviously, but I don't know if that makes sense. But whereas a death is, you would in theory still be with this person if they were alive, so to move on is kind of a scary thing. So I always love when the previous person in some way is able to provide like clemency almost, I don't know if that's the right word, like approval. I don't know, I like it. And I feel like after reading that like little end bit, this whole book might read a little differently. Like, I'm sure if I reread this now, I would look at it, things would be different, and things would probably make different kinds of sense, which is always good. Yes, so that is my confess book discussion. I'm going to say open for spoiler comments if you want to leave any. So if you have any questions, comments, you want to talk about anything in particular, feel free to let me know below, and I would love to talk about it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!